Struggle with smoky eyes? You don't need brushes or perfect blending, just tape, a cotton bud and your fingertip. This trick makes it foolproof, and the best part, you can get a flawless smoky eye in under 5 minutes. This is definitely one of those tutorials you'll want to save for when you're travelling and you want to pack light. You can take 1 or 2 eyeshadows. Hotels always have a vanity kit with some cotton buds in it, so you need not take your brushes. And micropore tape, surgical tape or scotch tape will be your best friend for creating a sharp wing. I always like to take the residual stickiness off of the tape before putting it around the delicate eye area, and you can do this by placing it on the back of your hand first. Take the tape underneath your lower eyelash line, and you want to imagine that the lower eyelash line was to continue up and outwards. That's going to give you the ideal trajectory for your wing. Today I'm going to use a matte black eyeshadow. This one is by Natasha Denona, but you can use any duo of shades that you like. You only need 2. I'm going to use black and I'm also going to use a brown. I'm going to apply a very light amount of this in a couple of dots along the top lash line. Then I'm taking a matte brown eyeshadow. This one is also by Natasha Denona. And on the opposite end of the cotton bud, I'm going to apply the brown above the black dots. This will enable us to create a ombre effect to the eyeshadow, so it will go from dark to a lighter brown. Of course, you don't have to map out the eyeshadow shape. You can just go straight in with your cotton bud and start blending from that micropore tape onto the lid. I just find the dots means you don't apply quite as much of the eyeshadow, and it means that you've got a bit of a map to follow. So I very gently connected the black dots together, and now I'm going in with the brown side of the cotton bud and smoking these together as well. So again, coming from the micropore tape at the highest point, coming down towards the eyelash line as we get towards the center of the lid. What I like to do as I go is take a clean cotton bud and start blending the seams of the eyeshadow as you would with a clean blending brush. Of course, if you have brushes and you prefer to use them, you can still use this same technique. I just wanted to show you that you don't always have to have all the kit and have everything professional. If you don't have access to these things, it doesn't mean you can't create a smoky eye. I have been in situations where I haven't had my brushes with me, and this has saved me. So I just feel like it's a handy tool to remember. You will not get the perfect blend with cotton buds, but it doesn't matter, because once we get to the shimmer aspect of the smoky eye, then it will cover a multitude of sins. Here I'm going back in with the brown, and this time I'm going over the black. The black is going to work as a good base underneath to create depth, but we are going to cover it with the brown in order to create a bit more of a seamless finish between that black eyeshadow and the brown eyeshadow. So here I'm deciding that I want to go in with another layer of the brown. Again, you decide what works for you, and if you're creating a rounded smoky eye, you don't even need the surgical tape. You can still do this, but what I would say is that the tape definitely gives this a more professional finish because it gives it that crisp outer wing, but that isn't to say you can't do a rounded smoky eye with this effect. Once you've finished applying your eyeshadow, go back in with your clean cotton bud and just buff over the seams so there's no harsh edges. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. This next step is where the look really comes together, and this product in particular hides a multitude of sins. This is the Bobbi Brown Luxe Eyeshadow in the shade Moonstone. It's a pale pink gold high sparkle shadow. I would say this goes on so much better with your fingers than a brush anyway, so that makes using this product super handy. Rather than going straight from the eyeshadow out the pan onto your eye, you want to prevent a little bit of fall down, so work this on the back of your hand first and then use your finger to dab it from your hand to your eye, and that way you'll just get this beautiful sparkle finish. And you will get a little bit of fall down, but I feel like it adds a nice effect to the eyes. But definitely get that on that inner corner and underneath your tear duct area. I feel like this really helps to open up the eyes, and as you can see, it's really softened the appearance of that blend. Always keep the eye skin taut with the finger on your opposite hand when you remove your tape, and that will reveal the most beautiful wing. I'm using micellar water to clean up any fall down, reapplying a little bit of concealer or foundation under the eyes, setting that in place, and then we're ready to work on the lower eyelid. Going back in with our cotton bud and the black eyeshadow, I'm smoking that underneath those lower eyelashes really close to the root, and then you can go back in with your finger just to soften it. No smoky eye would be complete without eyeliner, and if you've seen any of my previous tutorials, you'll know I'm obsessed with the Eldridge Seamless Eye Glide pencils. This is in the shade Cinder Smoke, which is a cool grey with a subtle pearl finish, which I thought was more appropriate for today's look. Don't forget to also take this on your upper waterline. Give your lashes a good curl because we're not going to be applying any falsies today. And then go in with your favourite mascara. Mine is the Lancome Lash Idol. If you are after a recommendation for a mascara that does not move, does not shift, does not flake, lasts all day and comes off with warm water, this is the one. It's not a tubing mascara, but with warm water and a microfiber cloth, this comes off like a dream. I've recently been testing their Flutter Extensions mascara and it's lovely, but I do find that it does smudge underneath my lower eyelashes a little bit, so I wouldn't convert to that one. For now, this one reigns supreme. Okay, moving on to the opposite eye. Obviously when you do this, it will be so much easier if you do them at the same time. Make sure you look directly into a mirror so you can get them as symmetrical as possible. Both my eye shapes are very different and I learn to work with them as best I can because as I'm aging they're changing and they're getting more and more different. So with one eye I tend to make the wing slightly longer, and with one eye I can't take it quite as high, so I have to adjust them. In the end they both look pretty well balanced, but they do have to be slightly different. But that is why practicing with makeup, even on the days when you're not necessarily going anywhere, will be beneficial to learn about your particular eye shape, because everybody's eyes are quite unique and nobody's eyes are exactly the same. I know this to be true because I have an identical twin sister. We even had a DNA test just to see how identical we really were, which if you're interested, it was 2.6 billion times more likely that we would be identical than non-identical twins. Even with that percentage, we still have very different eye shapes. So when you find yourself at a loose end on a day where you're not going anywhere, have a play and really get to grips with your eye shape. So like before, once you've layered your black eyeshadow and then your brown eyeshadow and you're happy with the blend as best as you can get it, we're then going to go in with our shimmery eyeshadow, and then don't forget to work this on the back of your hand first and then tap it onto the eye. You can go from the very inner corner all the way out to the wing. Remember, this is a great way to help you disguise any of your blending issues because nothing is going to be perfect with a cotton bud, but I promise you once you remove that tape, it's going to look incredible. Isn't it amazing that once you remove that tape, you almost have what looks like the perfect blend? I think it can put you off by having the messy eyeshadow on the tape, but once you remove it, you'll see that you have a beautiful seamless finish. And who would have thought that you could achieve this just with a cotton bud and your fingers? You don't even need a brush. Now I know I said that no smoky eye is complete without eyeliner, but that doesn't mean it has to be black. If you have smaller eyes and you want to make them look a little bit bigger but you still want to wear a smoke, apply a flesh colour in that waterline. If you're slightly more mature and you find that black just is a little bit too harsh, you can swap the black eyeshadow out as well as the eyeliner and just go for browns. Now tell me that that wasn't super simple to create. You could see that my blend was not perfect, but the result is still stunning. I promise you, if you try these techniques but you err on the side of caution, apply a little bit less when you're first starting out, then you will be able to recreate all these different looks. I have a whole series using tape to help you create different types of looks, whether it's an eyeliner for hooded eyes or you want a soft smoky wing in seconds. I have tutorials that are full of tips and tricks that will help you to up your makeup game and help you to build confidence. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up because it really does help with the algorithm. Don't forget to save it and share it with your friends and family. Hit subscribe if you are new to my channel. My name is Shonagh Scott and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!